Hey guys, it's Mel from Cafe Racer New York City, and today I wanted to introduce you all to one of my personal favorite helmets, the Bell Bullitt. It's been a solid companion, and after years of riding around with it here in New York City, what's the verdict? Is it still one of the best retro helmets out there? Let me tell you. Now, I've worn a lot of helmets through the years, from modern helmets to retro helmets, but I have to say, out of all my favorite retro-looking helmets, the Bell Bullitt has to be one of my favorites. The Bell Bullitt was actually my very first helmet. I just really liked it because of the aesthetics. It had that retro look, which I was looking for. In addition, it is also DOT and ECE approved. And let's be honest, it just turns heads. So I've worn a lot of helmets throughout the years, from modern sport lids to other retro helmets. But the Bell Bullitt, it's got to be one of my favorites. I mean, it just looks right. It was actually one of the first helmets to kind of embrace that retro aesthetic. So I've taken this particular helmet through a lot, especially here in New York City. And here's what I've found along the way. Now, first of all, city riding. What I really love about the Bell Bullitt is, number one, its wide field of vision. Now, being a new rider back in 2017, I found this immensely useful. In fact, compared to my other modern helmets like my Arai Defiant or Defiant-X, this has actually a wider field of vision. So what does that do? Well, for me and for you, it makes head checks a lot easier. You're going to find yourself having to not turn your head as much so you can see peripherally, since it has such a wide field of vision. And that makes it extremely useful, especially when you're riding in busy cities like here in New York City. Now, another fun test I did with this amazing helmet is taking it on the highway. Now, New York City doesn't really have like huge expanses of highways, but there are definitely highways here in New York City. And although it looks great and it does the job, giving me a wide field of vision, I mean, let's be honest here, anything past like even 50 miles per hour, especially if you're in like an elevated portion of a highway, it's just nothing but wind noise, which only means you better be wearing earplugs. But for me, that's not so much a case because I'm doing most of my riding on urban streets pretty much local, so I'm not really building up speeds. And in case you're wondering, where is that wind noise coming from? Well, a lot of it has to do with the pretty wide neck curtain. You're going to find with other helmets like Arais or Shoei's, the neck curtain is going to be a lot more narrower. All right, another thing I want to talk about is how this helmet works during rainy days. Now, I'll be honest with you, during recording, I just wasn't getting any rain, so I'm going to simulate what it is like when it rains with this helmet. But just so you know, I have ridden in the rain with this particular helmet and it's been great. It's probably one of the best visors out there in terms of like wicking rain, if you can use that word for the Bell Bullitt visor. But let me show you as an example with this very scientific example with simulated rain. But I just want you to check out how easily the water, let me see, this is actually my first time testing this with a bottle. Yeah, there, ooh. I don't want to get electrocuted here, sorry. But what I do like, I mean, there isn't, see how quickly that's actually wicking away? I didn't apply any like special like wax or anything on there. And obviously it's not wicking away quickly because I'm not moving, there's no wind, but I will say, especially with this rounded bubble shield, when it is hitting the rain during rainy seasons, it does wick away out of my way in terms of vision pretty easily. And if you look closely, yeah, it's doing a pretty good job. Check it out. In terms of like bubbling up, it's not moving obviously, but it does a great job in the rain. I promise. Promise. Fourth, and let me, while I'm talking about this, let me try the visor. How is it with night rides? It's actually pretty good with night rides. Once again, the wide field of vision helps out immensely. Now, I find for me personally with this yellow visor, it does kind of enhance night riding for me. I mean, I'm not young like probably some of you guys, but my eyes aren't as, crisp as they used to be. But This yellow visor and this wide field of vision makes it a fantastic helmet for night rides, especially here in New York City. Now, I know with my particular helmet that I chose here, this is a matte black carbon finish, so is it like reflective at night? Not so much. I mean, what you can do, you can purchase some reflective stickers to like throw around. In fact, in one of my other Bell Bullets, I've put some reflective stickers like on the back sides of it, just to give it more visibility while you're riding around. Next, I'd like to talk, how is this helmet for everyday commuting? Now, for me here in New York City, in a like pretty dense urban area, it's been amazing. I mean, yes, not only does it look good, it has that wide field of vision so that also, you know, people can see who the cool person is riding the motorcycle. But what makes it really great, it is actually fairly comfortable. Now, if you check out this plush interior, I'll bring this light so you can actually see better. Really nice details. I don't know if you guys can see that with this cool light I have in there. But the interior has definitely pads that you can remove. Both the top liner and the cheek pads do come out, so you can wash them to keep your helmet fresh. In addition, it has like nice details in terms of like, let me put this down, this little leather finish. Yeah, and I've been very happy. Just an amazing helmet. Now, continuing on with this helmet being used for everyday commuting, yeah, I've loved it. It's great. I mean, I'm not riding as far here in New York City, but it does feel very comfortable. Once again, wide field of vision, looks cool, fits the look and aesthetic I'm looking for. But one thing to keep in mind, my head, if you can tell, is an intermediate oval. I don't know if you can tell that. But with Bell Bullets, they are all round oval. But just keep that in mind if or when you purchase a Bell Bullet. It is a round oval head shape. So what makes this Bell Bullet stand out? Well, number one, the most obvious, design. I mean, check out that retro aesthetics. It was my first choice when I got my first motorcycle, a Ducati Scrambler Cafe Racer, but I mean, check it out. It has that cool retro look, but with modern technology. Second thing I love about this helmet, as you can see, it's wide field of vision. As I've mentioned before, what's great about this wide field of vision, it actually helps you with your head checks. With more narrow helmets, you actually have to turn your head more to the left, to the right, which takes your eyes off the front. Versus with the Bell Bullet, you don't have to turn as much because it has a wider peripheral on the left and right side. So you're literally just riding. You can turn a little and look, turn a little and look. And the third thing I love about it is its comfort. Yes, this is a round oval head shape, and I am an intermediate oval head shape, but still with that plush interior, with its removable top liner and cheek pads, it's extremely comfortable. I've been very, very happy with this helmet. But as much as I love this helmet, it's not perfect. One, it's a little bit on the heavier side. Yes, it is a carbon fiber helmet, and the non-carbon fiber one is actually a little bit heavier. But, you know, considering it's a retro helmet, it's a little heavy, like especially versus like an open face helmet. Second thing I don't like, well, it's wind noise. It's a loud helmet, don't get me wrong. Like I mentioned before, with more modern helmets, the neck curtain is going to be a lot more narrower, not like this wider U here. So while you're moving, especially at higher speeds, that wind is just sucking up. What that means, if you have a Bluetooth device installed in here, if you're riding on the freeway, it's basically almost impossible to hear. Another thing I don't like about it, and I wish it had, was a pin lock. Yes, it is a, you know, really cool retro visor, but there is no pin lock. I mean, with its 1, 2, 3, 4 ventilation holes and mouth intake, it does an okay job. But to be honest with you, when I'm riding here in New York City, especially when it's hot and humid, you need to ride with this cracked open little because it will fog up on you. Are there other helmets out there with a pin lock? Yeah, there are. One example would be the head-on heroin helmet. Now here are a few things you need to know if you plan to buy a Bell Bullet. Sizing. Now once again, this is a round oval head shape. If you're someone like me who is an intermediate oval, this helmet may fit a little different than what you're used to. In addition, the cheek pads like you see over here tend to run a little snug at first, so do expect a break-in period for the cheek pads. Ventilation. Now, this is a pretty cool looking ventilation system that they have built in here to the Bell Bullitt 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But honestly, don't expect much airflow, especially at lower speeds. In fact, for myself, I got to ride with the visor open just a little, especially in humid climates. Now, speaking of visors, like I said before, this visor it's a great looking visor. You know, it definitely fits the look. One thing to keep in mind, it's not articulated like you find with other modern helmets. What does that mean? Well, if you ride with it cracked open and you're running around, it tends to close on you. Now, if you like the Bell Bullitt but wanted other options, here are 3 other helmets that you can consider. One of my first choices would be the head-on Heroine helmet. Very similar to the Bell Bullitt in terms of the retro design. Both have that retro finish, retro look. The only difference is the field of vision on the Bell Bullitt is a lot bigger than on the head-on Heroine. In addition, the head-on Heroine helmets, they are quiet. Don't get me wrong, really, really great feature, but the helmet itself is fairly expensive. Another great option I would say would be the Arai Defiant or Defiant-X. I actually own both of those helmets. So what do I love about those helmets? Well, aesthetically it does look retro because with Arai they go with that egg shape. So it has a rounded look. In addition, Arais are known for their comfort and amazing airflow. So you're getting kind of a retro looking helmet, but with modern features. And finally, as another great option, take a look at the Biltwell Gringo SV. It's kind of like a marriage between a Bell Bullitt and a Arai Defiant-X. It has retro looks, but with things like adjustable airflow, which you would find in a more modern helmet. So after all these years, is the Bell Bullitt still worth it? Well, I say yes. If you're looking for a stylish, retro, and comfortable helmet, the Bell Bullitt is a fantastic choice. And honestly, overall, it's one of the best choices out there for a retro helmet. So would you rock a Bell Bullitt helmet? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks all for taking the time to check out my review of my favorite helmet, the Bell Bullitt. I'm Mel, and we'll see you next time.